Welcome to Energized Coaching. Here we're going to take a look at a unilateral, which means single arm, preacher curl. Now before we start, I want you to notice the angle of this preacher bench. It's slightly harsher or slightly steeper than that one. So if you're a newcomer to this exercise, it would make sense to take the less harsh option. Now again, you'll notice that one is seated, this one is standing. Your thought process should be exactly the same, whether you're seated or standing. Okay, now let's look at setup first. If I'm going to train my right arm, I need to open out my body to bias that working arm, okay? Bias basically means favor. So I'm angling myself to allow joint alignment throughout there. So we've got the shoulder in line with the elbow, elbow in line with the wrist. And then all I'm going to focus on is hinging that elbow as well as and as efficiently as I can. Okay, so let's get some weight in the hand. And again, I'm going to take a little bit of time with my setup. Okay, and again, you'll notice I've got a lot of weight through my leg there as well, and that's going to enable me to brace myself throughout the working set. Okay, my non-working arm is coming on top to keep me stable. Okay, so even though this won't be working in the exercise, it's still working to ensure I'm stable enough to do this movement efficiently. Okay, so I'll do a few reps, show you how it looks. Okay, so some pointers. Again, alignment. I've got to emphasize that alignment. The elbow is a hinge joint. We want it to hinge naturally. Okay, secondly, you'll notice at the bottom, I'm not bouncing out. I'm trying to go down nice and slow. I'm looking to fully lengthen the bicep, okay? And then I'm pausing because I don't want momentum from the bottom of that portion of that movement. And then from there, I'm thinking about driving my forearm into my bicep there. Okay, now, important to mention this as well. My armpit sits on top of the bench and my elbow sits on the bottom of the bench. They stay stable throughout the entire set. It's those two joints that are either side of the bicep. So I don't want to be bringing that elbow up off the bench because that's going to bring in instability. I'm actually trying to drive my elbow down into the bench, and I shouldn't see any fresh air there underneath the elbow joint. So I'm lengthening as much as I can to fully lengthen the biceps, and then I'm contracting as hard as I can, squeezing that bicep at the top in peak contraction, but without lifting that elbow off the pad. Okay, so that's a single arm or unilateral preacher curl.